Okay, welcome everybody to the November imaging meeting of the Raleigh Astronomy Club. And today we're going to talk about solar images, and specifically, we are going to have a presentation by Naveen Malik and about a instrument that they've been working on, a spectroheliograph known as the SUNSCAN. And him and Don Du, or not Don, excuse me, Dean Herring have been working on these, and we're going to see what the results are. So, with that said, we have Naveen here. We're going to start on this presentation. Naveen, take it away.
All right, thanks, Chris. Um, so yeah, it's been a fun project. It's taken a while to build, and John, who's on the call right now, has built one as well. This is dipping his toes into getting it set up to collect data. So questions as we go, just raise your hand or interrupt. I've run through this presentation like a dry run, and it's like 10 minutes, so it's not going to take long. This is kind of what I'm going to go over. What is it, the really high level, how to build it, not like a step by step. How do you, once you build it, you need to do setup for the hardware, and then walk through some results and tips. And if we want, depending on where the interests are, I can do I have taken the data off of the SUNSCAN, processed it in a program called JSOLX, which is for handling the scans from these devices, as well as then putting it through PixInsight. So I can talk through that as well. But anyway, so it is an autonomous smart solar telescope. It's designed by the StarOS team. The intent is to make observations very easy, and it's an open source project. So everything is available for you to go look at, like how it's built to put together, the software for the back end and the front end, so the mobile application and everything. I 3D printed mine, and I also made 3D printed one for Dean, and we bought the electronics and optics together, so we have a pair. Um, on the screen, I've got a picture of mine on my AM5. It's designed to be used on an alt-az mount, but if you have it on an equatorial mount rotated 90 degrees, like I do, it works because you have to stop. You have no tracking while it's scanning. It's literally the sun is passing through um, the field of view. And I have a video time lapse showing what it looks like. Um, the bottom right is my sun scan. It doesn't have the camera put in it in this picture, but it just attaches in the back where the helical focuser is, and the Raspberry Pi is in the case with the grate on it. And in the top right is one version of the results straight off of the, is this straight off the SunScan? I can't remember. This might be out of JSOLX. Anywho, putting it together, this is not for the faint of heart. There's quite a few things going on. You've got three lenses, you've got a grating, a slit. So this is a very, very thin, a piece of metal with a very thin gap in it. And then there's a mirror for bouncing it around inside the device. Electronics wise, there's a battery, so it's actually, you don't need to have it plugged into anything. It's pretty nice. I've used it, well, assuming I think I had about a week where most, like 6 of the days were clear. I didn't charge it, and I was taking like 5 scans um, once, every day, which is about half an hour of the device being turned on. No problems with battery. It's pretty cool. It's using a Raspberry Pi camera. I did go poke around and see, like, hey, could we get a better camera? It's really fast camera. It's color, which is not like the best thing, but it's fast, and the pixels are really small. They're like I think it's 1.55 micron. So uh, couldn't really find anything that was reasonable and easy because it's just a Raspberry Pi camera and you just plug it in and it works if you get the right one, right, John?
Yep. That's what I was gonna say. You can order the wrong camera and go, huh, why is it not working?
Yep. Um, the 3D printed parts, you want to print it in at least PETG. Needs to be black. John, I think you printed yours out of ASA.
That's correct.
Yeah. Um, I'm thinking about printing a new body in ASA at some point. And it takes about 30 hours total. 6 plates, though there were some failures, so I had to redo a few things because I was having problems with the Petchy sticking to my print bed for some reason. And as I said, the mount, you do need an Altaz mount. Um, John is using I think a tripod, a
Yeah,
camera tripod.
just a camera tripod, and it does what it needs because you position it, let it pass across, and do your thing.
Yeah, yeah. So you don't use any tracking when you're actually doing that data acquisition. Um, and everything you need to know is at this website, www.sunscan.net. All right, their assembly is a 63-page manual. It's actually really nice. I had like no real problems with it because, and I'm not showing the whole thing. Like this is an example of like one of the sections, like the yellow page. This is what you need. This is the tools. This is all the parts. And then it's step by step. You see here on the right, like how to orient the optics, looking at it from the side, very clear, easy to make sure you have it right, how to slot it all together, and it's just 63 pages of this.
Yep, and I'll second that. This manual is great. The tweaking it manual sucks.
Yeah, it could be a little bit better. Um, so once you have it built, there's also the Raspberry Pi you've got to set up. This one is there's not even a manual. It's just on the web page, which is all accessible through the sunscan.net site. You're installing Raspberry Pi imager software on your computer, downloading the SUNSCAN operating system image. You're installing it on your micro SD card. You have to install the mobile app. It does require um, well, I assume it has an iPhone app as well, but I'm Android only.
It
So,
does. It does have an iPhone app,
okay,
and it's not in a beta store or anything. It's a regular published app.
right. Yeah, so no janky ways of installing it. It's through the legit application channels, which is awesome. And I'm using a tablet for what it's worth to get a bigger screen. Um, and then you have to, of course, log in. So you turn on the Wi-Fi for the Raspberry Pi, connect to the Wi-Fi, and the password is in the instruction manuals. And I haven't figured out how to change it yet. So maybe John, if you figure that out, let me know.
Oh, I'm sure I could. It's just whether or not I want to hack into that yet. I want to wait to get it working first. Then I'll make another copy of the card and then do that.
Yep. Um, okay. The last bit, as John said, the adjustment. This is not the best thing in the world. It is good enough. I would recommend you read that before you start, though, front to back. I There's one step where there's an optic in the very middle of the device, and you have to take the top off completely to tune it. You're collimating it, and every time you change it, you need to put the top back on. So it's really kind of time intensive. And I didn't read the entire manual to start with. And the page after it tells you how to do it, it tells you how to measure whether you're doing it well, because there's like a full width half maximum view. And I I did Dean's in about 5 minutes. So read the manual. But again, it's pretty thorough. It goes through it. I don't know how up to date it is because one of the really cool things about this project is they've been updating the app periodically. Like I've had mine built since September, and there's been 2 updates to the app, and each update has added features that I find useful. First, They added focus aid for one of the later, for when you're focusing the last optical element. They added a focus aid, which is great. And then they added stacking for stacking of images. It originally was just a black and white, a monochrome image. They added in a colorized version, which is pretty cool to have. Um, and I show here on the right-hand side, this is you know, the view of the uh, full width half maximum, and it actually reads out a number, so you don't have to guess based on just the lines. It does have a number in the latest version of the application. Let's see. Before I get on to like results, any questions or John, any comments as somebody who just finished doing all of that?
Yeah, I probably am going to end up, I had to open mine several times and I'll probably open it once more to redo that collimation bit because I'm probably not quite right on that because I honestly didn't even think about that full width half mat measure deal because I just kept going until the line was as narrow as possible on that slit, on
Yeah.
that screen. So I may not be close. I may not be spot on, right? And another note is even with the 0.16 layers of the printed parts, the screw threads have some play. So they're not super tight. They're not like machined screws. So you might have some variance from print to print. If you have a good quality printer, they'll be minimal, but there's still going to be some variance because it's plastic.
Are you talking about the heat insert?
No, no, I'm talking about the threads of the like the collimated,
Oh,
yeah, those
yeah.
those those things. Not no, the
I
heat inserts work great, you know.
Yeah, our DMs back and forth, mine with John. I've been calling those janky threads.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
they're,
the screw
they're not the
threads on the
best.
plastic 3D printed parts, not the
Uh-huh.
insert holes were just purely because I
Let me
had some narrow
see.
ones. So
Okay. Yeah, here on this screen, the top um, on the left, there's you end up with lenses inside these printed elements that have threads on them. The threads are printed and they're good enough, but they're not great. Okay.
and another comment is depending on whether or not you print the parts or buy the printed parts, there's like a 270 or $300 difference in the price of this thing. I think I've
Yeah.
got about 900 in mine, I think, or 850, something like that. Um, if I tally it all up, that's about where it is. So
Yeah.
it's not for the faint of heart in that department either, is what I'm getting at. But it's really a handy little device. I mean, if you once you get it going.
Yeah. I tallied up everything, and Dean and I might have been hit by more tariffs at the time that the parts were purchased, but it was about $1,030. And the print, if you just look at the plastic, if you had no failures in the prints, it's like $9.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I got two spools of ASA filament for $40,
yeah,
and yeah, that was enough to print the multicolor. Yeah, and you don't even have to do multicolor if you don't want to. But why wouldn't you? If you've got an
yeah.
X1C, you gotta.
I didn't do multicolor to start with, so when you see SUNSCAN on mine, I like hand painted that very carefully to, you know, get it to be yellow enough to show up. It's like 4 layers.
Yeah, I just
Uh,
colored like 4 layers white on mine. So
yeah. Yeah, if I reprint it, I'll do it different. But okay, on to results. So on the SunScan, they give you a lot of interesting things. So there's this card view, so you can see where the North Pole is. So it's up on the off to the right here on the top. Solar parameters, who took it. Um, I think this was in JSolX, but it's the same, effectively the same off of the SunScan directly. So this is the card view. There's a auto stretch version, which stretches a little bit more than the non-auto stretch version. I don't really know why they have something distinct, but they have something labeling active regions. Um, You can get the Doppler for the full disk or for just the prominences, and then a colorized version. And there's more. There's some that I think I left off because I didn't particularly like them. Oh no, I left some off, but I do have more here. So the prominences by themselves, and then mixing the prominence with colorized, which makes the prominences pop. Um, and then, as I mentioned, you can stack them. So on November 8th, I did 5 scans. I think I was on the AM5, so it was equatorial. And the only thing that matters there is that my AM5 is on an EQ6R Pro tripod, which is heavy, and I have it ratchet strapped to a 1.5 foot long anchor in the ground in my backyard because I don't want to accidentally bump it and knock polar alignment out. So I'm like, I'm going to make this thing not move. So it's very stable. Um, and this is the results of stacking it on the SUNSCAN, which is this is actually the day that they released the update to the software that gave you a colorized version of the stack. So that was pretty cool to be the first one to post that on their Discord. But yeah, it looks really cool. I mean, there's some you can see on the edges, top left, bottom right, there's some uh, quirkiness with the stack. But if you don't want to do any post-processing, this is just what you get. I mean, I was really happy seeing this, but I wanted to see if I could do more. So I threw it through JSOLX and PixInsight, and it does a better job of cleaning up the edges and then the stacking. Uh, just the results are better. I think I've been tweaking how I do the processing since then, so I probably get a little bit sharper, maybe a different colored result. But yeah,
Are you
it's not
using
bad.
Solar Toolbox for that or just other utilities within
It
PixInsight?
it's yeah, it's Solar Toolbox, and if you want, I can pull up PixInsight and just go through the process containers I've been using. It's it is the Solar Toolbox plus some MLT to sharpen a little bit more. Um, and I do create a mask with a range mask process to clean up some of the background because if I go back, you can see there's a lot of red in the background here, which you do see in the um, the stack when you take it onto a PC, but not too hard to clean up.
Yeah. Hey,
Well,
Naveen.
and yeah, what you could do with that, and for that particular case, if you stack the non-colorized versions, you could bring them in and you can get rid of that red when you in Solar Toolbox by just raising that background just a little bit,
Hmm.
and it'll come in, black at that point, you know. But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah.
Jim?
Yeah, I got a little lost on how it makes the image. So is it the sun's passing through and it's getting one row
Sure.
of pixels at a time, or is it a video? What's it recording?
It's
Good
like
segue.
Oh,
linear scans, right?
okay.
Um, yeah, so this is a time lapse of the scan. So you'll see what it actually looks like, what the video is that it's processing. Um, it is sped up. The scans are usually 2.5 minutes to 4 minutes, depending on where the sun is in the sky, whether it's moving just straight across or, like laterally through the field. But there's no audio. But this is what the scan looks like for that one image. And the big thick line in the middle is hydrogen alpha. And if we could zoom, you can see kind of like it's rippling a bit. That's all the, structure on the surface of the sun. Saw the sunspots of these black lines going vertically, and that's it. Um, yeah,
So it's basically linear, line. It's scanning lines, right? And then it
yeah,
compiles those lines into this image. And as where it gets, where it's thinner, that's like where the edge of the sun is, and then they get wider as it crosses. It's, just like the sphere. It'd be more and more detailed, and then it starts shrinking back down till it goes off the edge.
yep. And I'm going back to the stack from the SUNSCAN itself. So if you look at the edge, like it's cutting through top left to bottom right. So you can see like it's those lines that's making a line for every frame-ish. I don't know. I don't know what math I'm using, how they're
It
doing
really
it.
is like a fax machine.
That's a good
Yeah, yeah,
analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's good. Um, One thing, if you do have one of these, make sure you start your scan. So you pan the device in front of where the sun is, so it'll pass through. Make sure you go a little farther than just the edge. And so like this prominence here, like all this stuff in the top right, that shows up before the disk of the sun shows up in the field. So that's pretty
Yeah.
important.
Yeah. Once you determine which way the sun is traversing across the device, you can do that.
Yeah, yeah. Um, all right. So tips. I think we probably covered some of this already in just the conversation, John. But one thing we didn't mention is when if you're printing this and there's uh there's a thing you stick in on the top which has the grating, which is what's separating the wavelengths of light, so that you end up with that hydrogen alpha and other all the lines. Everything is available. Can't process everything within the software yet, but you can pan around and look at every bit of the sun. Make sure it's smooth when it turns. Mine's not. It's a little catches a little bit and it's annoying. So if I ever take it apart, I'll make sure I clean that up. I don't know what's binding. Um, Focus is critical. I should say first, the collimation is the most critical. So take your time to collimate because you can't get back to that without taking the top off. And taking that off means you have to take screws out of the helical focuser and you have to have the Raspberry Pi off, but still have the camera connected. So where's your Pi go? Ugh, it's kind of a pain. I ended up taping it on to the sun scan so it wouldn't fall off.
Now you leave the bottom screw on for the pie and you just hang it off it. It'll be fine.
Yeah, the ribbon cable, got to be careful. But anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, yeah, take the time to focus. In the manual, it says to focus on the camera side with the helical focuser first, and then you have the neural density filter on the far optic, the one where the light comes in, to focus that next. They added a focus aid for that. Um, this is the most time intensive part. As we've been saying, that threaded piece is janky. So it's kind of frustrating to get it dialed in, but it's what that's where you get really crisp edges of the solar disk, and it is you have to have it really, really sharp. And once I figure out how to do that right, I'll let everybody know because I've had it get right twice. Everything else is a little meh, but yeah.
Do you find that you have to do significant adjustments to focus every time based on conditions, or is it just once you set it, does it kind of usually work?
Um, I find the focus on the camera side is usually consistent, but think I think if I was imaging in a clear sky, crystal clear sky every time, it would be pretty consistent, but I'm not because I'm like, I just want to try stuff out.
So you think
Um,
seeing actually is
yeah,
impacting your focus a
yeah,
little?
a little bit.
Have you tried anything in calcium K with it yet? Because it
I
can do
have
that.
not. I've not tried that at all. I'm hoping for a clear weekend so I can like sit out and play with different ways of mounting it to see if that is a factor while the sky conditions and wind are relatively consistent. Because
Yeah.
I don't know what variables cause issues with capturing an image yet.
Yeah, they did specifically say that calcium K would look visually blurry, but the software will handle it, which is
Hmm.
kind of interesting. Um, so, but I'm kind of assuming because I'm going to get HA before I even think about calcium K. I'm assuming that's that middle line on the device is probably calcium K, but I could be wrong. You know what I'm talking about? There's three lines on the top.
Yeah, on the grading, I assume that's yeah.
I don't know what the third one is. I don't know if that's the raw light
Um,
focus one or not, because I'm usually
yeah,
around that area.
the one all the way.
near the knob.
clockwise most
Yeah.
is, yeah, that one is for the collimation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
All
but
right.
yeah,
Scanning.
it's been an interesting, little bit. Like literally, I just got mine fully assembled 2 or 3 days ago, and I just started playing with it, and I'm still tweaking to try to get it set up. But today was cloudy and rainy, and so yeah, I could do the collimation with just light. That part I can do. That's a good thing. But you can't actually fine tune it until you have the sun.
Yep. And my next point here is that scanning to the clouds seems to be a really bad thing. Because as the light level's changing, each line in that scan is going to be a different brightness, and it just looks special.
Well, and I think it also would be it's technically obstructions to that area of the disk that the cloud goes through, or
Yeah.
so
Well, the interesting thing, there's been a couple of posts by some of the folks in, I think they're in France, because that's where this group mainly is, on their Discord, where they say they had like thin layer clouds. So it may be like if you have a consistent layer, like some just haze, it would be okay.
yeah,
Because the
I would
stuff they put out is amazing.
yeah, I could see that if it was a consistent layer of high cloud haze that was thin, as long as there were not any significant visible variances, I could see that. It would just affect the amount of light that gets through, but it would do it consistently across the board.
Yeah. Um, okay, the manual says to um, God, what is the word? I can't remember the word. What is that number that you're reading that you want to get to about 4,000, John?
The it's the saturation or whatever.
Saturation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
So
you go to 4095, you get frowny face.
yeah, they have a smiley face in the app is where they're in a good range. Um, the days that I've had really crisp results have been I've pushed that to about 4,000 is what it reads for the red channel. Anything above that, you get a frowny face. And also doing that while the disk, like the sun, you have to do it while you don't, okay. You have the full field of the camera to see data and find out where the hydrogen alpha is. But when you do the imaging, you have a region of interest that squashes it down to a very narrow slit that you're taking faster, frames, yeah, higher frame rate. So you move into that mode to see what your the histogram is at, and try to reach with the sun as large as it can be. So you're looking at the middle of the disk. Try to hit about 4,000.
Yeah.
So as bright as you can do, because then any prominences that are really faint will be brighter relative. So
Yeah,
uh,
one of the gotchas that you got to be aware of that you've already covered it with the jankiness of the rotating of the slit. That becomes problematic because you're making adjustments to that to get that H alpha line right on the grid line, the crosshair line of the image. Because when you go to that imaging mode, it's a very very narrow sliver horizontal, and that whole band has to fit in there.
yeah,
So that's where, making sure that thing moves. And when I pull mine apart to collimate again, I'll look at mine because I think it's mostly the gears on the teeth that are causing. I think that's where my roughness is coming from. I don't think it's from the travel itself. Be easy enough to confirm by just pulling that little turn knob off and spinning it. And if it's smooth, that's what it is.
yeah,
Uh, but yeah, little things like that. That's a little fit and finish kind of thing. And if you do decide to build this, um, they're clear about this during that instruction that, don't touch the faces of the optical components really, in particular the grating. But, it's a good idea not to touch it on any of it, to be honest.
yep, absolutely.
I wore nitride
Um,
gloves when I did it.
I went through a lot of gloves. because I was going between things. I'm like, I don't want any contamination, no chance.
Yeah.
Um, mount stability. I mentioned my AM5 is real stable. I tried it on a Nexstar um, SE8. I've got the SV Bony, their SV225 alt as mount head, which works okay. But what I want is a clear weekend where I can try all three next to each other, like one right after the other, and just see what the differences are.
Now, I'll
Um,
say this, since it's not moving, if from my perspective, this little, $15, lightweight tripod I have, I didn't notice any kind of shift or bouncing or anything with it. Um, but aligning it is where all the wonkiness was with that. So I don't know that a heavyweight tripod is even remotely needed, is what I'm getting at.
it may
As
not, it may not.
yeah, if like that SV Bony, I think would be ideal with those slow motion knobs, because once you
Yeah,
get it, I think that would something like that would be really good. But I don't think you need an, no one needs to go buy an AM5 for this, is what I'm getting at.
yeah, and that's why I want to have do scans at, one right after the other and maybe in rotation just to see
Oh, so I'll
what, if
send
any,
mine to you to
difference.
collimate and you can run both at the same time.
I had
Well,
a,
yeah, I've got Deans right now too. I could do three at a time.
There you go.
I have a question. On
Yes.
my solar tracking mount that I use for my Lunt 60,
Yeah.
that's probably useless for this. Is that right? You wouldn't,
Yeah, you don't want
Yeah, because it's
tracking
going to move.
on.
yeah.
But you do have to, like, between, if you're doing multiple scans, you've got to, shift it back to where it's like ahead of the sun. So with the
So if I
Nexstar,
wanted to do a 3 hour time lapse of the sun, this is not going to do that.
no, no.
No, you're going to want one of those like that SV225 or something like that, that you do a scan and then you shift it over, do another scan, shift it over. You just move it
Yeah.
along. Um, yeah, because I was thinking the same thing. So I was going to use my Orion Solar Star Seeker, and the only
Yeah.
way you could make that work in one condition, if you get it in the right position, then turn it off so it's not trying to track,
Ah,
it would work.
I
Yeah.
see. Okay.
So you could do that, but you're going to have to manually shunt it and get it off, to the leading edge, turn off the mount so it doesn't try to track the sun, let it do its thing, and then turn it back on and rinse and repeat. You could do that.
I see. All right.
Now,
Yeah.
bear in mind, mine's not working yet. So I'm going from theory. We're in theoretical mode right now.
I wonder if there's a
Well,
way to use like an intervalometer to push that ahead at sequential times to get that in a position where you could possibly do a time lapse.
That's what I was going to say
I've wondered.
too.
If you use
Um,
something like an AZGTI mount and you just turned off tracking, and something like that would probably work, because it'd be something that you just say don't track, just go to it, and then you bump it up, do your images, and then bump it again and keep rinse and repeat. I think that would work. um, it's just any kind of, I guess you could say, programmatic way of moving the mount ahead of the sun, and then stopping and waiting for it to pass, I think is what you would need. you know Something like that. I don't see why that wouldn't work,
yeah.
because
I don't know about automating.
it's got a fairly
Automate.
wide field of view too, doesn't it? Have you looked at that camera? Do you know how wide the field of view is on it?
Uh, I
It's
don't
got to be at
remember
least
exactly.
30 arc minutes, because the sun fits. So,
Yeah,
uh, um,
I'd say it's about what, 3.5 to 4 solar disk widths. Maybe
so
it's
yeah,
less.
so it's like 2.5, 3 degree field of view.
Yeah.
So you've got some leeway.
One of the challenges for a time lapse is if you're using an Altaz mount, you also have to deal. Yeah, it's not only just the
Field
azimuth, it's the
rotation.
altitude. So you, you've got to be able to tweak that. And I don't know how you would automate this. I don't know what the hook would be into the SUNSCAN.
Well, I
I
don't,
mean, given its front end, back end, like they have a mobile app and the software running on the device, you I'm sure you could figure out something, but
I don't know that you could programmatically do it, but you could probably, if I remember correctly from the playing around with JSOLX, it tells you the rotation on it. So if you're running a series of scans, that rotation number should change and you can manually rotate it back if you're going to do a time lapse, I think. I'm just speculating. Does that make sense?
what are we rotating?
Well, that because it's going to rotate, right? When
Mm-mm.
it's no,
It
it
doesn't
doesn't.
matter. You're just getting a slit as it's sliding through the
You know, I
field of view.
understand, but it's the sun. It's passing over different points of the sun, different angles, right? The angle changes as it's
Yeah, yeah,
moving.
it
What
will.
I'm saying is you're going to want to deconvolute that, aren't you? Or
Yeah, but the
derotate
software
that.
handles that.
Oh,
Software
okay.
handles that. Mhm.
Across multiple images, it will.
Oh yeah,
Okay, for a time lapse though, maybe not.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It derotates it within
Okay,
JSOLX for sure.
okay.
But I think Steve, it would be really cool to try like a scan every 30 minutes or something if it was a clear weekend. Or for me, I've thought about doing that.
There is a
Just
built-in animation sequence which I haven't even messed with in the app.
Yep. Yeah. So
So
once you've scanned, you can build the animation directly in the app. It's pretty cool.
so that could
Yeah,
be your
I
time
haven't
lapse
played
right
with it
there.
either.
That could be your time lapse right there, I would think.
Yep.
And the
Um,
output of it does rival, um, at least with Naveen's setup, $3,000 solar telescopes, um, at least in my opinion, because it
Well,
gets some really good detail.
yeah, the advantage I see, I mean, on the solar telescopes, like my Lens 60, is that it takes me top 10 minutes to get it set up and going, and then I can just let it go
yeah.
and
Yep.
do a time lapse for hours if the clouds don't get in the way and other things don't happen, So it's,
Yeah.
Yep.
but of course, you're spending thousands of dollars to do that.
Yep.
So,
Do you have a double stack on your 60?
no,
I'm trying to decide if I want to get a double stack for mine or not.
I've considered it, but I haven't, just, I'm spending money on other things.
Yeah, it's another $1,200 I'm not feeling like
Yeah, yeah.
spending.
Well, John, one thing I'll just give my input on that. Yeah, I only have a single, but I don't know if some of you guys may remember him. His name was David Bruder.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Dave
Yeah,
Berger. Yeah.
yeah, he had the same model I have, but it was double stacked. And I don't know, maybe you guys already know this, or John, you may know this, but it's worth mentioning. I was thinking about getting a double stack, but then it's like we're talking about, it's like, another 1,000 on top of the scope that you already have. That's like pushing 3,000. Uh, you it does perform exactly the way it's advertised. It does up the contrast substantially. But even though they're long wavelength, I mean, you're imaging a long wavelength, 656 nanometers. Believe it or not, and I'm guessing it's just because you've narrowed it so much that it's influenced by seeing, believe it or not. And so you need some really good weather for that, almost like, what you would want for like, just regular long focal length planetary imaging. So I'll just like put that out there. If you're considering something like that, just keep that in mind. The other thing too is that if you like looking at H alpha visually, a double stack one, I assume that the bigger your aperture, not so much of a problem. But for something like mine, I only have an 80 millimeter H alpha scope. Data Brugger's, his was 80 millimeter and double stack, and I'll go ahead and tell you, it is pretty damn dark visually speaking.
Yeah,
So
it cuts out a lot of that. And I would expect the same, if not more, on the 60 because the double stack for the 60 has actually got a 50 millimeter aperture on it.
Yeah,
So it actually cuts down the aperture some too. So
yeah.
But anyway, I mean, maybe someday I'll just take the back because what they used to make for, I mean, because I have the Lunt, and I mean, assuming that's what we're all talking about is
Hmm.
the Lunt models of H alpha telescopes. The what they used to make, but they don't do it anymore. So I guess I'm just gonna have to wait until someone puts it onto Astromark or whatever. I mean, I haven't seen Astromark in a long time. I believe it's still around, but whatever. But they used to have like if you had a single, you could a cheap way around it is that they had one that you could mount directly to the front of the scope instead of
Yeah,
extending the train of putting the extra filter uh, pressure tuner filter in front of, well, the other pressure tuner filter. So,
you're talking about on the objective end, correct?
yeah, exactly. On the
Yeah,
lens, right in front of the,
that's the only double stack available for the 60, as far as I know, the one you put on the end of it.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, it's like I said, they made it in the 80, but they quit. It's like, why? But maybe there's a reason out there, and the manufacturer just didn't like the product or the
Yeah.
quality of the images that were coming out of it. I don't know.
Yeah, the double stacked 80, if I remember, because I think Mike Mantini's is a double stack 80. The both of those pressure tuners are on the back end, not the front end.
No. Yeah, the one that you mount on the front, I've never seen one firsthand, but it's really weird. It's more like a wheel.
It's a tilt tuner.
Oh, is that
Uh,
what it is?
yeah, on the
Okay.
front, the 50 millimeter that goes on the front of the 60 is a tilt tune adjuster on the front end, and it's pressure tuned on the back at least for my Lunt 60.
Okay.
Um,
So
yeah,
maybe that's what it is. Yeah, because it's really weird. It's like this wheel that as if you're like turning up the volume or something that's on the side of the thing.
yeah. There's three little little adjustment knobs on it to do the tilt tuning. Um, But anyway, if I had to do it, well, if I'm going to get a new solar scope, a real one, I'm going to get the Heliostar 76. I'm telling you right now, that's what I'm going to get. But um, because that thing gets double stack results and it's just one unit, but it's $3,500 I'm not spending. So
Ouch.
although I
Uh,
did sell 75 ounces of silver today, so I have the $3,500, but so I'm just not doing that.
you should have held on to that. That's what I'm doing.
I bought it when it was $16 an ounce.
Okay. Well, that's fair. Yeah, I got mine when I was in the 20s.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I just put up a link to another version of this, I guess, which you probably know about already. And there was some interesting YouTube videos on using this. That Dylan O'Donnell guy in Australia did an interesting video on this version of this kind of thing.
Oh, the SHG. So yeah,
Yeah,
that one.
yeah,
Yeah. Yep. That one's the one for people that don't want to 3D print and assemble.
exactly.
Yeah. That is and that one mounts onto an existing telescope.
Right.
Yep.
And you have to bring the camera and a equatorial mount and
Yep.
yeah, I thought about it, but no. Okay.
But this one's exciting for, the portability factor too.
Yeah.
Because this thing, I mean, it's tiny. It's size of smaller than a laptop, so
Yeah.
sticker, but smaller size wise over otherwise.
I've I've got a SQA 55 that I've gutted the case for and put foam in to hold the SUNSCAN. Very portable.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna get the small case at Harbor Freight,
Yeah.
the Apache case. I think it'll fit in there, no problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dean has something he got on Amazon that's just slightly shorter than the case I had. I'm like, well, I already have this one. I don't have to buy anything.
Yeah. Well, you'll see what
Uh,
case I have when I ship mine to you to call Mate 9.
uh,
But,
all right.
but yeah,
La
anyway.
Yeah, two more tips and I'll stop the share and we can keep on chatting if it's all right. So, um, I think we mentioned it and it was shown in the video. Just keep in mind when you're doing this, like the sun is also not only just moving horizontally across the field, but either up or down, depending on whether it's rising or falling, unless you're at like solar noon. So you have to kind of adjust for that and put it towards the side of the field when you're taking you're starting your recording, because yeah, you don't want it to slide off the side, which I haven't had happen yet, but it's come close. And then the last thing, there's in the JSOLX, they have like an optimal exposure calculator. And for the SUNSCAN, yeah, the pixel size for that camera is 1.55. So the optimal exposure, John, per this is 83.72 milliseconds.
Okay.
So just whatever you can get at gain 1.0, lowest gain, to get your saturation up in the good range is fine. I've tried with a really short exposure and higher gain, and it's bad. Don't do that.
Well, right now, my results are just bad because I'm out of focus. So
Yeah, you'll get there.
yeah, yeah, it's a matter of tweaking and learning more about it as I go, and RTFM if I really need to.
Well, I did the same thing. Like I didn't read the manual on how to do captures really, like until this last weekend.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. But it's pretty neat, and obviously the computing power is not super fast. It's a Pi 4. I'm wondering when they're probably going to come out with an updated case for a Pi 5 if they come out with that Pi Sugar UPS for a Pi 5. I think
mhm,
that's the reason it's still on a 4B, to be honest. Um,
yeah.
because as far as I know, the Pi Sugar UPS, that's the battery for the Pi, is not officially working properly on the Pi 5s. Um,
And that battery was not the easiest thing to find either, to get exactly the right one. So
yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
But
But yeah,
I started thinking about getting those for my other pies. I'm like, oh, I didn't even think about these, but because they're kind of nice because it has its own little power button to turn the thing on and off. Um,
yeah,
so yeah, it's pretty nice. But uh, I've spent enough money right now, fixed income kind of thing. So.
yeah,
But yeah, it's definitely I'm excited to see how it does over the once I get through the growing pains here. Um,
yeah. It's certainly fun.
yeah.
All
And
right.
it is a I think overall the design there was obvious someone technically knew what the heck they were doing when they put this design together. There's no two ways about it. Um,
The the only thing I want to change, and I've ordered some more helical focusers. If it works, I'll put one on Dean's. I want to have the optic with the that you're adjusting with the neural density filter to be less janky. Um, I think there's room. You'd have to like carve out part of the case in that front left section. I think there's room to add a helical focuser to that. Because that's one
so
of the
you
things, like you turn the threads and it's not only rotating the threads, but it's moving in and out. So it's
right. The
ah,
play there is a little too
yeah,
much. Yeah.
yeah,
You know what might actually, believe it or not, solve some of that is redesigning the holder to where the screw pushes, like there's a screw thread clasp that it pushes in instead pushes in to lock it. So it's always got that pressure on it. You just loosen it enough to turn.
yeah,
It's just a thought. But yeah, I get where you're going with that because that part is kind of weeble wobbly there
yeah,
when you turn it. And more than once I've twisted it and not had it quite loose enough and twisted off my neural density filter right off the end.
yep.
Whoops, yep, there we go.
I've done that a lot. But another thought, John, is maybe a spring, a light spring that's big enough to go around the outside of that so that it can push between the housing and the cap that holds the that you have the neural density
A
filter in.
tensioner of some
Yeah,
sort.
just to put tension on it.
Yeah. I mean, I otherwise, and I think honestly, the reality is if you were a master at 3D printing like you probably are, you could probably just reprint that thing slightly with 1.01%, just a little bit and actually make it a nice
Just
tight
tighten it.
snug fit if you want, but that involves, they've made this to accommodate pretty much any home quality 3D printer that can print PETG. I think that's really what their design criteria, and because of that, there's tolerances in there. Can you
Yeah,
tighten them? I bet you could.
yeah. Before I
Okay.
do that, I want to try put a helical focuser on there for reasons because
Oh yeah, no, I mean, don't get me wrong. If you could fit a helical focuser in there that was um, that you could fix that to, you could affix it to that tube and only have that being the moving piece, you know, um, I could see that, being much more stable.
yeah,
Um,
I'll
and
let
there
you
are,
know how it goes.
yeah, yeah. And you'll modify mine when I ship it to you. I'll buy the parts.
I have emailed them asking for like the source for the STLs, and I haven't heard back yet.
Yeah. Yeah. And, depending on what they use, like you said, to do it, it may or may not be something you can utilize. But I'm sure they designed them in some CAD program, and you could
Yeah,
probably, if you get, well, actually, you could probably import the STLs into a CAD program, and start modifying them from there if you wanted to.
Even Tinkercad or Blender, you may be able to change that.
Well, Tinkercad I use all the time. That's very basic, though.
Yeah.
You'd probably need, like not FreeCAD or OpenS. You know what? You'd need to. Well, maybe FreeCAD would do it, but OpenSCAD
Oh,
probably would not.
Blender definitely would.
Yeah,
yeah. I
yeah,
probably load it in a slicer and just hack on it there.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I did that for my phone case. Like the model it wasn't quite tall enough to like have, if I put it face down, the glass was resting on the table. So I
Uh,
modded, but I couldn't get the source. So I'm like, well, I'm just going to make this work. Um, now it's perfect.
Okay, guys, let's go ahead and get started on the second half. Usually we would show images that were taken since last time of the night sky, but since this is going to be solar themed, we need to get together and show whatever solar material that we've taken over the years. Who would like to go first? No
I
one?
gotta see.
Okay, me.
I
I'll
gotta
go.
actually. Yeah, I actually got to see what it is. When was our last meeting? October 21st or something like that.
Something like that. So, um, all right, I'll go first then. Let's see. Bring that up. Uh, what is this thing? Good. Okay, thank you. And I want you. All right, very good. Okay, everybody see that? So this image right here, this is like one probably the largest prominence I was able to capture with my H alpha scope, and I got the H alpha scope. I want to say that was back in 2013, and yeah, and it's been quite a joy to use. But before that was just pretty much what everybody else was using, just a white light filter. Here's something that I can't remember his name right offhand, but there's this individual that I ran across one time, and this is something he does is like he'll do a false color image showing the blue sky, and then he makes sort of like a mandarin orange out of the chromosphere of the sun, and so then he'll like make the actual like prominences and whatnot grayish in color, and so it stands out pretty well. This, of course, is the Venus transit. This was back in June 5th of 2012. I'll never forget that day. If anybody knows about the timing of that transit, fortunately here in North Carolina, you only got to see the first half hour of it. So I'd always wanted to see the desert Southwest, and I was just like, well, further west you go, the more you can see. You want to see the Southwest, so I went to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and uh, yeah, so this is what I was able to get, and this is about like mid-transit or not mid-transit, probably close to mid-transit of the whole thing, but I was only able to see it for about almost 3 hours, so got to see more of it, but just to give you an idea, like, ever so often, these are some of the pictures I took, and I just call this, Venus beads, if you will. So this one's sort of like my masterpiece right here. So leading up to the Venus transit, I was like, okay, well, let's do some planetary imaging of Venus itself. And so I went out starting in February of 2012, leading up to June 5th of when the transit was going to occur, and that was, I don't know, hopefully my mouse pointer is showing up, but it was around about the, I don't know, the lower left of this sequence is when I started. And so then the Venus transit happened, and I was like, you know what, let me just go ahead and do the whole thing. And so I went out every 10 days for about a year and a half, and got an image of Venus. However, like the very back end of the orbit that I was trying to map out here, I didn't really take much in the way of images there because the phase barely changed during that time. Plus, too, it was really close to the sun, so it was kind of risky to get those phases. And then right here, this is, well, obviously it's a partial phase of the eclipse hydrogen alpha back in 2017, August 21st. We were some of you may have come in late, but we were just doing our regular small talk before the actual meeting started. We were in John Sandler's step parents, well, not step parents, but step mothers. I assume that's what they're. Am I getting that right, John? No, if you heard that, but anyway,
Step brother.
yeah. Stepbrother, yeah, we were in his front yard, and Steve Christensen was there as well with his brother, and it was a blast. So that's the resulting image I was able to get of the corona from that 2017 eclipse. So like I said, this focus was a little soft, so I'm kind of disappointed in that a little bit. But hey, the corona showed up, and I'd always want to do it, and there it is. And then last year rolled around, 2024. I think it was April 4th was when that occurred, and got to do it again. Focus was nice and sharp. However, there were high clouds in the way. Anyway, whatever. But I like the way this one came out as well, so I'm not going to complain too much. This is something I do once in a while right here, is that I'll just go out and take an image of all three wavelengths that I use. So hydrogen alpha, that's what they'll want, 80 millimeter aperture hydrogen alpha scope. Also from one, I bought the calcium K-line filter, which is really easy. It's just a diagonal that you put on our regular scope. I don't know if I can't remember if there's aperture limits for it or whatever. Like if you, I had this put into a 90 millimeter scope, so I don't know if you were to use the same diagonal, if you were to put in 150 millimeter, if it actually needed to be stopped down or anything. Anyway, calcium K-line give you another good look of what's going on the sun, and also looks like lightning bolts, or as if it's being electrocuted, in my opinion. But then the continuum filter, which is just a white light filter using a Herschel wedge made by Lunt, and the actual continuum filter for 540 nanometers, it's actually green, but everybody false colors it as a light yellow color. So that's what you have there. And on the same day, what day is this? I have Windows in the way. It doesn't like there. Oh, 12th of May of last year. So the thing that was significant about this is that you saw in the full disk images, you saw an active region off to the side there, active region 3664. Yeah. So off to the side there, the thing that was significant about that, being taking those images, was that this is the active region that caused that was a G4 geomagnetic storm that created the really bright auroras last year. I mean, there was two instances where we had auroras, but this was one that gave us the good ones last year. It was this active region that did it. So it flung something out in space, we intercepted it, and yay, auroras all the way down to North Carolina. And that's it. Let's see, as far as images go, let me look at something else here. Let me just do the full desktop here. Let's see. Yeah, do it like that. So hopefully I'm coming up there. And then I have these, let's see if I can do the whole thing, because I have so many windows in the way. Here's this guy. This was kind of cool right here. I went out like once every lunch hour for almost a month straight. That's what I was hoping to get was a whole month of rotation, and because it's actually less than a month. I think the sun rotates, like every 25 days, something like that. But of course, clouds got in the way, and the cycle was broken. But no, can't win them all, I guess. But there was an active region right there, and it went through a flare in one of those frames. But let's see, do this one then. Then right here, I'm not going to show this whole thing, but this is the Mercury transit back in 2016, and I was going to make it a point to go anywhere it was clear on the East Coast, and one place that was going to be clear was actually, this small stretch in Florida. So I went all the way down there, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, I had a few hiccups here and there, so this, the sequence wasn't perfect, but I can't complain. I got what I wanted out of it, and clouds behaved themselves. There was a few clouds here and there, but did not pass through the disk, so that was nice. But you got to see some solar activity that was kind of interesting during the whole thing. There's Mercury passing by right there. But this middle sunspot group right here, it sent out a flare. I mean, not super dramatic, but it should be coming up here. And see, there we go. Here's the flare right there. Put the little filament out further. And then, of course, some people may have remembered this one. This was kind of cool. It was one of the recordings that had a airplane flying in front of it. So that was neat. Here's another one, final one I'll show. Some solar provinces. You just saw a nice group of solar provinces. So I thought I'd do a time lapse of that. Obviously, we're not going through an eclipse, right? In this sequence, I just blotted it out because it's just blazingly bright. Because provinces are a little on the faint side, so you have to up your exposure again, and that just blows out the actual surface of the sun. But anyway, so that's all I have. Anybody else want to go?
I can show some things, Chris, if you want.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I want to end this around 9 o'clock. So yeah, go for it.
Are we? Yeah. Okay. See if I can figure this out here. Let's see. I'm not sure which window I'm supposed to use here. Hang on. Let's say this tile. No, that's not it. Is this it? Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Is that coming through clearly?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. This is some stuff on Astrobin. This is with the LUNT 60 and ASI 174 back in 2024. And so, and then there's another one, I think also LUNT 60, different days. At a time lapse. Of course, you've got the rotation kind of. This is on a this Solar Quest mount, Skywatcher Solar Quest mount. And I just let it go, and then you can do it with fire capture. You can get it to just take pictures, and follow the sun, which is the nice thing about that mount. And this is with a C-Star S50, July 30th, 2024.
Wow.
And I've tried various things with that. I've used the solar filter that comes with it, and I've also used various other white light filters and whatnot, Bader films type things and stuff, and an ND 100,000 filter and things like that. And the the ND 1000 or 100,000 filter works probably the best compared to the one that comes with the C star. And there's another one also with the C star, and there's a little bit of a time lapse there between, I think, just 2 days, 7-minute video stacked. Yes. So you can do that. It's so simple to set it up with the C star. It's 5 minutes and you're taking pictures, so it's kind of nice.
Looks
And
like
then
you
this,
had a group just pop up out of nowhere there in that time lapse.
yeah. And then this is one I just took. I took one of the NASA SDO images and combined it with an image I took just to see what the various regions and what I took are doing with based on the NASA images. So I just made a little animation using their data and my data for the exact same time, more or less. Okay, and then there's another one, 160 again, all on my Skywatcher mount, which is really nice. And then there's another, okay, this is one with the ND 100,000 filter. And you get a little bit sharper images with that than you do with the kind of beta film type thing that you can do with it.
Yeah, you can see more granules there. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
you see more granules and stuff like that. So it's kind of a nicer, slightly nicer way to do it like that. Then here's some things on Flickr. This is things I did with the Solar Toolbox kind of stuff. I'll process with Solar Tool, and then I can zoom in on structure. So here's the original picture, and then post-processed in Solar Toolbox in PixInsight. And there's another example of that kind of thing you can do. And so you can play around with this and do a lot within PixInsight and Photoshop to get structures and that sort of thing. And I don't know if this may be the same time lapse as before. And then you can bring, it really helps to bring out prominences and whatnot if you process it in the correct way. And then going all the way back to, this is the Texas, where I was in Texas, at Gatesville, Texas for the 2024 eclipse. This is things we've probably shown before. There were clouds, obviously. This is with the C star.
That's so cool.
And then there's the totality, and then going back out again. But the clouds were problematic there, but it was still just enough to be able to see something. Then I don't know which, this is with the iPhone time lapse.
Yeah, you weren't kidding about clouds. Woo.
Yeah, but there's just that gap right there. Started allowing things to happen. We were very nervous. There were hundreds of people there in this little town waiting for this to happen. And then just at the right time, it kind of opened up. And everybody, you could hear people for blocks around oohing and aahing when the clouds split and that showed up. So it was quite nice. That's just with on my iPhone and processed some, of course. Yeah, so that was a very interesting time.
Still pretty neat looking though.
Yeah. And then this was with the pinhole camera time lapse. No, wait a minute. No, sorry. Wrong.
Let's say that's a really big pinhole.
No. This is the pinhole. There, that's with the pinhole camera. And you see the places where it goes blank here are where the clouds went through. And then totality was right there in that sort of gap in there, one side there. And then the stuff that looks like tentacles coming off the bottom was just reflections off of the clouds. So it looks like some sort of creature or something.
Steve, may I suggest you get this blown up and placed on a canvas in your living room? That is beautiful art right there.
Oh yeah, thank you.
It's a space jellyfish.
The
Yeah.
space jellyfish.
It's really, really cool.
Yeah,
I
I
would
was
say that you should, Steve, you should do the one for 2017 because that one, well, I mean, it's not as, I guess, artistic looking, but
oh, that one,
it
yeah,
was nice
yeah,
and complete, because it showed that one place, empty spot where that one single cloud came through. Remember that?
yeah. I remember. Yeah, it's on the Flickr page there somewhere. What is this one now? Let's see. Oh yeah, this is just the a very quick showing of the totality. Just filtered that out. Uh, that's just a picture of the. This was with the Lunt 60, and let's see. This is the same thing again. Um, and it's just an edit of the time lapse goes by a little too fast. But let's see. Go back. All right, let's see. Forward here. All right, then this is with the entire. It's just a camera pointed at a regular camera on a tripod, just doing a time lapse uh, in Gatesville. I had quite a lot of people standing looking at my Sea Star thing on my iPad. They were all lots of people interested in seeing that kind of thing. Yeah, okay, that's all I've got, Chris.
Okay, very good. Who would like to go next?
I got a couple quick ones.
Okay.
All right, let me see if I can do this. All right, so this first one is also the eclipse from last year in Poseyville, Indiana. This is composed of three videos, and I just hacked them together. One prior to totality, one that I did a time, an image of totality, and then the egress of the sun. And it's just a quick time lapse. So can you guys see it? First question.
Yeah.
All right, let me go ahead and so I just had it, doing its thing. And then this was totality. I just, like I said, a separate image, and then afterwards, and then my S50 was overheating, so it wanted to recalibrate. I was so mad. I was like, no, and so I didn't recalibrate. That's why it's dropping off the edge there. But yeah, that was the eclipse. It came out all right. I learned autofocus or auto exposure needs to be turned off really, because that's why it got real bright as it got closer to totality, which is kind of annoying. But and let me see if I can change now to where is this? Where did the window go? Oh, where's my sharing? Give me I want to change what I'm sharing. Oh, here it is. Jeez, why did it move it over there? Stupid thing. Okay, so yep. Let me do this now. So now this was from June of this year with the Lunt 60. This was a 9-panel mosaic of the sun, or not the Lunt 60, the Quark chromosphere. Sorry, this is a 9-panel mosaic that I stitched together. At least I think it's 9, it may be 12. That I just took videos of each of the frames and then stacked them together with ice, Microsoft Ice, and then did a modest processing on it. And I could probably do more. And this is the first couple times I used Solar Toolbox when I did this. So, but after I took one of the panels that had this region, active region 4100, which is, I don't know if you can see my mouse cursor at all.
Yeah.
That's right. That's this region. I just did a panel, that panel, and I ran it through Solar Toolbox and came up with this. Um, and again, I'm still learning Solar Toolbox a little bit, but it has promise there. And this last one was from October, just an image of the sun with the quark again, and it was a 7-panel mosaic that I did. And the reason I do mosaics with the quark is because you can't get the full disk because it's got basically a built-in 4.2x Barlow. So I just step across the image, and then I stitch them all together. As long as I have overlap, that's all that matters. Um, so this one I'm fairly happy with. I probably could do better if I reprocess a little more, but so anyway, that's it for the solar stuff. Short and
Okay.
sweet.
All right, very good. Anybody else?
Chris, I've got the picture from the pinhole camera from Texas, if anybody wants to see it.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, hang on. There we go.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I just like the fact that it has trees in it too. You know,
yeah,
trees.
the major gap on the right, the big one on the right is the eclipse itself. The other two are those clouds that came through just a little bit before that made us all very nervous. So
to, to say the
little,
least.
yeah, the two little gaps were what made us really nervous, and then it cleared up, and we got the full nice time. But the larger gap was where the eclipse was. Yeah, but it's really it's a lot of fun to set these things up and see what they do. But it's not as interesting as the one in Gatesville, but it was interesting. Okay.
Chris, I have a few.
All right, see you.
Let's see what I got here. Can you guys see my screen okay?
It is sharing. It hasn't come through yet.
There it is.
Okay. So I split with the eclipse two places. There's a retirement home right north of Creedmoor that I spent some time with, and I spent some time here with Home Depot. But the store manager in Wake Forest, Chris, he knew that the big supervisors were coming in that day. So what I did was I had a bunch of photographs that I brought in the day before of the Home Depot team helping me with all the suggestions of building my observatory over here. So we kind of timed it just so that we would have it. I can't believe it all worked out, really. It's like watching Three's Company up with Chrissy and Jack. But it was interesting how we were able to just set up in a matter of a couple of seconds. And rather than having an event where, people really can't get to it, I've been finding with Outreach, I go to the place. Like I'll go to a Kohl's in Wake Forest with a quarter moon, and I'll find hundreds of people that just want to look for the scope for just a couple of seconds. This is a little 70 millimeter go-to that I use all the time, the small little filter, the little white filter on top of it. And we just had some of the people that were there as employees just coming out during the daytime. They would just take a couple of minutes and just jump out and see things. This is Eric. He helped me with almost everything you see around me, with the flooring, you name it. But he's always had an interest in astronomy, and now I think I got him talked into buying an S50 here in the next couple of weeks or so for himself for Christmas, for a retirement gift. Really nice little place over there in Wake Forest. Old school. I never got to the last eclipse. I decided to stay home and see if I could share with some of the folks around here. Chris was telling me before I went to Cherokee to see this in 2017. He's like, look, I remember you telling the astronomy group, don't take a lot of equipment with you. Just experience it for the first time if it's your first eclipse. And he was so true. This is me standing in the middle of thousands of people. Cherokee had this huge event with this, I think it's the frog eating the sun. I think it was all about. And I got a chance to see part of this eclipse. This is me taking a photograph through the 70 millimeter with a white filter on it, and total eclipse right there. And this was me goof around this summer. That same scope I had there a few moments ago. Let's see if I can come back a little bit. This little Coronado PST I bought, oh God, almost 10 years ago. I use it all the time at the swimming pool with the kids. And they love it because you really can't get sharp photographs like you can with the Lunts and whatnot. But it does its job. And if you twist the small little, there's a small helical kind of a thing that allows you to change the different types of angstroms you have. I just superimposed a small Earth on there to show my mom kind of the size difference that you see with these sunspots. That's what I was goofing around with.
Very good. Yeah, I think we need to do more of that. That's something I was going to demonstrate at the imaging showcase. Is that assuming I can get it done before then. It's just like superimpose a picture of the moon onto like a narrowband image used with a 200 millimeter lens. So obviously the moon in a 200 millimeter lens, we'll see detail, surface detail, but it's going to be very slight. But it demonstrates the fact that, hey, the moon's this big in this camera lens, and yet this nebula complex is ginormous, and yet it's so much further away. But yeah, that's something we need to do more. So just as far as showing our images to the public. So okay, anybody else?
Just one last note to that point. I was thinking of something today. Every time I go to a NASA website, there's always these 15 goofballs that will say all kinds of things. Where's the stars around the moon? And I've never had the opportunity to show just how a telescope works, that when you change the amount of light that comes into the camera, if you're looking to get thousands of hits for the RAC website or the RAC Instagram page that we may have on Facebook or whatever, that might be something we might be able to do to show more engagement with it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, yeah, because it's like Discord. I mean, yeah, that's a social site, but it's just for members only. So I don't know. Yeah, that'd be something to think about. I mean,
you get a lot of yahoos too that come out of the woodwork for that.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm not going to talk about the characteristics of our audience here right now, but it's like some of us just can't stand social media, not because we don't like it, that it's bad, but it's just like it's just yet another thing that we have to keep up with. But it's where the people are, unfortunately. So, okay, anybody else? No? All right, well, I guess that'll do it for us then. Thank everybody for coming, and thank you very much, Naveen. That was, yeah, really nice to see how it worked out from start to finish. Of course, I got intimidated when I saw the part that it's a 16-page manual. So
60 page.
60,
or yeah, yes, not 16, yeah, 60, yeah, excuse me, yeah, 60 page manual. But
It's an Army instruction level manual. It's a lot of pictures.
yeah. Okay, that's good. So, okay, well, pretty much like I said, what we talked about at the beginning. Yeah, if you have any imaging showcase images and you can't participate, you want to give them to me. I put it in the chat. You can submit it to my yahoo.com email address. That's DCCOLE421. And then also, I would really like it if some of you guys could give me some lunar images as well to use at Astronomy Days this year, separately from the imaging exhibit. One final note. Since we're having the imaging showcase next month, we will not be having an imaging meeting whatsoever. So that's what we've been doing in previous years. There is no imaging meeting in December. The imaging showcase is in place of that. So anyway, anybody else have anything else they want to add? No? Okay. Well, good night, gentlemen. I don't know, Dave, can you stick around so we can talk longer?
I sure can.
Okay, great. Good night, everybody.
Take care.
Bye.
Okay, Dave, let me bring this up. I don't know what happened to my internet, but I got kicked off for whatever reason for about a minute there. Luckily, there was a safeguard that was put in place that the show continues without the host. Let's see, what is this thing? I have it here somewhere. Oh, okay, here it is. So, I mean, just try to like envision like the front of the museum, the front door, I mean, of the old section. So, if I were to share this.
Which building is it in? Is it the one with the big gigantic globe, or is it the other one?
Yeah, it's the older one. Yeah, the one without the globe. The one
Without
with
the globe.
the dinosaur skeleton at the top dome on the corner.
One that has the blue whales exhibit.
Yes. Yes.
I'm in the middle of painting an 8-foot replica, something like that, right now in the garage.
Very good.
I've taken over Linda's parking spot. She's not real happy.
Is that coming through?
Perfect. You mind if I do screenshots while we're talking?
Uh, Screenshots? I mean, I could just send you this right
No,
here.
no, no, no. I already got it. Boom. Okay.
Okay. All right. Anyway, but yeah, it's like 14. That's where they're going to be putting us. I mean, there's a front entrance right there, where we came in, and then over here is where we actually went down to the room, the low-way conference room where you did your presentation last week. But yeah, this is we were going to be at 5, but they moved us to over here at 14. So it's like I'm trying to convince Carrie for us to put something at 7 and see if she can move exoplanets somewhere else. And so because of that, everybody who comes in, if they see like one of your pieces right there, along with a flat screen showing members' images, I think that will catch people's eyes right there.
It'd be a hard argument for exoplanets to have that much of a prominent station for that. Especially, I think once we show her a couple of pieces and we drop one off with her to keep for a couple of weeks, if you know what I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
it's going to be hard for her to ignore that.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, that's the thing. I want her to actually see one rather than just us talk about it out loud with her,
Yeah.
because I think that the other thing that I wanted to bring up with you too is that you had the two smaller ones there. I don't know, were they like what, 10 by 10s or something like that?
I go 6 by 6, 12 by 12, 18 by 18s, which are rare. I only have a few of them left because I'm going straight to 24 by 24s and much larger.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say is that, because those are sort of lightweight, I also want to run it by Carrie to see if we can get one of your 12 by 12s. See if there's a way, if we can make it, I mean, if it's light enough, see if there's a way that you can get the LEDs in that thing going, but battery powered. So bear with me. What I'm getting at is that what we can do, because we do this for telescopes on display, is that we can mount that somewhere, above all of the exhibits in that area, and you can like look at a crater using the telescopes on display. Just to give everybody an idea of what a look at the moon would be. Because I mean,
maybe I'll help you out. Do you mind if I share my screen for just a second?
Oh yeah, sure.
So I was talking to Steve here this summer. I got him one of those pieces. Let me see if I can pull this up. Is it going to share?
Steve Christensen?
Yep, I gave him one this summer because you guys just do so much for everybody. It just makes sense. You see these little battery powered lights up in here?
Yeah.
I have several of these because I use them at shows, if you will. And this is actually one of those shining down one. I think there's a picture of one of these. I think it's on Play-Doh. Nope, I airbrushed it out. Shit. Let's see if I have it on this one. But I have little battery powered lights that you can share your screen again if you like, that will last for at least 12 to 14 hours. They'll last the whole entire day shining down on that. And they're really easy just to stick on anywhere. They're rechargeable LED lights that I found for pictures. And I have several of them.
Yeah. Well, it's like I say, you show her this stuff that I think she'll be, like I said, I think it'll knock her socks off. And I mean, and off subject a little bit, I mean, if she sees these things, I'm pretty sure she'll ask you to come back next year, even if it's not lunar related. You get pretty much have your own table if you wanted to. We've had an astrophotographer a long time ago show up, and that's what he was doing. He just brought his stuff and was actually selling it because museums, as far as I know, they're still okay with it. If you have an exhibit and you have something that you're trying to sell, they allow that. I mean, I don't know if there's additional paperwork involved in that, but that's something that I don't know that maybe you would be interested in. So,
well, if they would let me do it, that'd be fantastic. I still don't have a lot of sales on these things yet. I don't even know if it's something I can even monetize off. I don't know what the value is for most
people. Well,
I mean, you've got to be careful too, because we don't want to make it like it's a sales event.
Oh no, it's like I said in the email. I mean, feel free to put your QR code and website or whatever somewhere on there. I mean, it's not like you're out there, hey, that you're got a big billboard above these things or whatever. I mean, yeah. So, because I know people will look at this and be like, wow, this is so neat. I wish I could have one of these. And I'm like, well, if you want one of them, here's the contact info right here. Get out your phone, scan the QR code. So,
and I can even have them. I do have a Stripe device too. I can even have them. Well, I'm getting beyond myself. Could you pull up that chart again, please, for the layout?
yeah, sure.
So she has this pretty much set in stone, that exoplanet exhibit. I'd be curious to see what they're sharing with it. And do you think there'll be people going to, do people usually go to the gift store?
The gifts, well, yeah. And I mean, it's their moneymaker. So, I mean, yeah, they go there a lot. And I'm getting, yeah, the thing, yeah, it kind of disappointed me that she moved us because we were supposed to be at, 5 right there. I don't think this thing working. Okay, there it is. God, this computer's terrible. Yeah, we were at 5, and I think the reason why she did that probably was just because, well, 5 is where they sell T-shirts too. So I guess they're trying to keep all their sales and whatnot in one spot, which they've never done before. So I
I'm
was
just trying to monetize off of it. I think there's another thing too. I wouldn't mind making several pieces that we hand out to people, like say where booth 4 is. It'd be interesting for kids to be able to actually touch a piece. You hand it to them and say, hey, if you'd like to see more of the moon, well, the Raleigh Astronomy Group over here has lots of photographs and other pieces for you to view as well. I see this happening a lot where, kids that are under the age of 10 are very tactile, especially kids the age of 6, kids that have accessibility issues with vision and whatnot. But kids that age are quite tactile, and there might be a way to kind of filter, or I don't know, maybe channel is the right word. Maybe there's a way to channel kids back to the back. And again, these are foam. It's not like, even if one of them or 2 of them or 5 of them walk off, it's not a big deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Well, so that's what I'll do. I'll get in contact with Carrie. I mean, I told her, kind of hinted that I was going to get back with her pretty soon already. But that said, if you can you like send me an email of your availability for it's like I said, I don't know if we can even do this next week or not, just because of the holiday stuff.
Let's try it. Let's try to push for it. I know that things get busy there on Wednesday, but I have a flexible schedule. I'm not working right now. I got laid off from Marriott Friday afternoon, right before we started our thing. So this is one of those things. Yeah, it was a pretty shitty afternoon.
Yeah, I'll put it out there. One of the things that I'm kind of off subject that's happened, like I think it's been like this for 2-3 years now. The museum is closed on Mondays now.
Okay.
And so I'm just saying that, yeah, if we were trying to catch Carrie, we're only going to do it for 4 days. 4 days out of the week. But okay, but
we'll find a way. We'll make it work. We'll definitely make it work.
Okay, so I'll email her. I'll CC you on it, and if you're okay with it, or well, I'm sure you're okay with that. I'll also just put your website address on it as well, and she can take a look at it.
Sure.
And just see if you can. Yeah, I mean, I know you're all the way out in Creedmoor, but it's like, if she can see one of these firsthand, yeah, I really think she could work with us. So
32 minutes is all it takes for me to get there. That's it.
Okay. All right.
It's fast. I'm down there all the time. And I tell you, I'm more of a people. I like to be around people. I don't mind being remote here, of course, but things like this, it's really important for me to share and be there in person. So yeah, we should be fine.
Okay. All right. All right. Let me send out that email, and we'll see what her reply is.
Okay.
Because usually we even do that anyways. We always do like one last get together before the show begins. Usually we get together like the week before astronomy days. If there's like any loose ends, then we need to tie up or whatever.
Now, by January, I will have the prototype done for the Moorhead Planetarium, the smaller table prototype we're making. I can't guarantee it's going to be done, but I don't know how many edits they're going to have with it. Is that something that we might want to show as well?
Yeah, I mean, the more the merrier. I mean, it's just like I guess I'm hoping I communicated it correctly in that last email that I sent you. It was I asked for an extra table there, basically to spread our stuff out, and
Okay.
then mingling in, you'll have all your stuff as well, just
Okay.
there.
That would be too much. Let's make sure we have enough room. Yeah, let's be careful with how much we bring over. Excellent.
So um, and then also, I just feel like it would be nice to have like something like yours to, I mean, this is us being selfish. They'll see your piece, that is sort of like a breadcrumb over to the rack table, I mean, but
Yep.
a giant breadcrumb, obviously, but you get the point. So,
Got it. Excellent. Okay. Well,
okay.
look forward for your email invitation, and I'll get cracking. I'll have some layouts for you, some pieces that I have ready for you to see. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, one last thing. I still would like you to pick a spot in the moon for me to carve one up for you. I got a piece of foam sitting over. It's a 12 by 12. It's waiting for you. Whenever you find a place, you let me know what you look. I mean,
Okay. Well, I was almost attracted to that big one that you had on the front there on your front page. And I was like, you know what? I mean,
that is one of my favorite ones. If you like that, I can put that together pretty quickly.
Okay. Well, let's talk. Let me get this out of the way first. Okay.
All right. And do you want more of the straight wall? Because you can only see a little bit of the straight wall down at the bottom.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Anyway, okay. Let me get going. Sorry.
Talk to you later, man. Take care.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.